in my retirement, I've had a lot of time to watch a lot of VODs. It's become more apparent to me, and I used to think that like a lot of pros had similar levels of aim. Like I thought, for example, this was your average player, you know? This is like a GM player. I guess it's champ now, right? This is like a champ 5 player. And then this was like a pro. This was basically as good as it got. The best pros were like slightly within this range, you know? My thoughts on it, and I didn't really know better, was just that it's good enough once you get to the pro level. Like all of them are good enough. And then what I realized over time was actually the best pros are here. Like another leap above. The best pros to the low pros, Korean top hit scans to like hit scans that we would still consider good. The difference is another full tier break. One of the big things that you see when you watch like the really good hit scans, Lip and Prophet are very clearly in one camp. And most of the flex DPS are kind of in this other camp. Like when I watched Stalker play hit scan in that Korean stage 2, like the Cass Orisa Genji comp, when Stalker was playing Cass in that meta, he very clearly had a different aim style. And also Ryan. Theory aim, raw aim. And this is not to say that people don't do both, right? But this is just what's obvious from their playstyle. The difference between these, when you watch them closely, is that these people understand all of the theory behind the way that enemies move, really understand movement patterns, and when in a movement pattern you're supposed to jump in, and how you're supposed to jump into a movement pattern. And because they do this kind of movement pattern recognition, how do I jump in and when do I jump into this movement pattern to hit this shot consistently? It looks very different, and it's also way more consistent. Like this is just objectively the best way to aim for most people. These people on the right just use pure right hand skill, right? Like just put my mouse cursor onto the person's head from wherever the position is that I am. This is the way that you do it when you just have overwhelming raw talent. You mostly worry about other things. They're thinking about their blinks, they're thinking about their movement, their own movement, right? Like these players basically don't focus on their movement at all. Prophet has told Chopper, and Prophet says, I don't think about my movement at all. I just try and kill the other person. What you'll see from Lip is mostly theory side, right? So this, first of all, right away, this first clip, right? So you see when he sees this guy, right? And so this is the way that most of the theory aiming people do this, is he sees this Widow, as I scoped in, this guy's strafing left, right? And so what this means is I have two options when you see someone strafing. Is you can try to cut off their strafe, which would be to move my crosshair here to this side, right? Or you can wait for them to do the next movement pattern because he has to keep moving, right? Which is going to be this way, right? So, and I can cut him off here ahead of time and wait for him to move back this way. And so the way that you pick these options and how quickly you do them and how quickly you process all of them, like this is all happened in 0.1 seconds. I'm slowing it down to explain it, right? And we've paused it. So everything I'm saying, I'm going to be describing it like it's easy, but understand that none of this is easy to do in the moment. And also it gets harder to do the better people get at moving. Like the higher you go up, the less time you have to think about all of this. Because he scopes in and he sees that this guy has been left strafing for a while. And so, and this is, again, this is my guess, right? I'm not always going to be correct on what he's thinking, but this guy's been strafing left for a while, which means, and also he just saw me. So the probability that he keeps strafing left is very low. And so very quickly he realizes all I have to do is keep my crosshair to the right of his head. And if I do that, eventually he will do the other strafe and I'll be ready and I will kill him, right? So if you watch this, he doesn't cut off that strafe to the left. He just keeps his crosshair on the right. He does do the left movement, like is very highly likely. Boom, shot's very easy for him, right? Then he goes left, right? This guy was doing the same thing, right? This guy just went left and jumped. So what's the next movement likely to be? Is it going to be left or is it going to be right? Right? And his crosshair is currently to the left of him. You know there's a very low likelihood, and again, this is the big pattern for most of these people, is that when someone is moving in a certain direction and they see you, especially if you're a hit scan and you're a big threat, usually they will change what they're doing, especially if they've been doing it for a while. So this guy was just going left, and now he saw me and he's scared, which means there's a very high likelihood he does the opposite and changes and goes right? And now guessing that he's going to jump is not something you're ever going to guess, but I would guess this guy's going to strafe right now. And so you're going to see his crosshairs left. He's going to cut him off and cut off the strafe ahead of time, right? He moves it to the right. Then this guy jumps, easy for him, boom, right? So those are two pretty easy shots, but already you can see the theory to the way that he's aiming, like these are not it's not right hand oriented aiming. Like this is brain oriented, eye oriented aiming. Why sometimes they get thrown off by worse players? Yeah, there's also like a bell curve of like the people that theory aim that are pretty good are very thrown off by bad players. Once you're really, really good again, then you don't get thrown off as much because your brain is just working so much faster than them that you start to cut them off before they even make their decision. But like if you're stuck in that like good, like if you're like a GM player, it's gonna be weird. So this clip is insane. This is one of the first clips where we see like he's shooting a tank, and this is where I personally think Lip outclasses most of the other hit scans. When this guy comes in, he has his crosshair on his head already, so that's one shot. And if you look at the way he moves his crosshair, there's one shot. He has to decide when this guy's strafing to the right and this guy's doing short strafes and I'm seeing him do short strafes, if I just kind of keep my crosshair in the middle, I'm just going to constantly cut him off as he cuts through the middle, right? And this is one of the easiest ways to do this, where if you don't overcorrect, right? Overcorrecting is one of the biggest problems that I see in hit scans, where like we just saw this guy started to strafe right. You know he's going to keep strafing right. And you also know they're probably short strafes because there's no way he's going to like go into this thing, right? So tanks short strafe a lot, and catching these short strafes by just tagging behind them a little bit. If I keep following him a little bit with my crosshair, I will cut him off when he goes the other way. And then when he keeps going this way, I'm going to follow him a little bit, and then I'm going to cut him off when he goes the other way. And you just keep kind of staying in the inside range of that short strafe and just catch him as he goes left and right. So he catches him here, then catches him here. He tried to overcorrect that one. One. But like those are two where he's just kind of staying inside the strafe pattern and the guy's just strafing across the shot over and over again and he's hitting him. So that's a nice way to do it against tanks. Disgusting. So out of these, like this clip is really interesting to me because these long range duels is like this is one of the things that will really set you apart on hitscan is like eventually you're gonna duel each other. And the way that he moves is so interesting. Like let me slow this down. Let's slow this honestly down to 0.5. Okay, so he tries to cut him off, right? And these are like the two tools that the theory aimers use most of the time. Is like when you're predicting a movement pattern, you can do one of two things, right? This guy's moving right, and my crosshair is just where it is at head level, right? Most of the time. So I know he's moving right. I have one of those two tools, and I have to pick between them quickly. Either I can cut off his right strafe by quickly flicking to the right and catch him here in this strafe, right? And there are times to do that when good times to do that normally are when the strafe has just begun, because if he's just begun this strafe, the chances that he's going to keep doing this strafe are pretty high, right? Like he hasn't been doing this strafe for very long. Also, he's not that afraid of me yet. So cutting him off, this is what Lips decides to do here. The other tool is what he was doing to the Zarya, right? Which is where I can just kind of follow and I can wait for him to do the other strafe. The problem in long hit scan duels is if you overuse this tool where you follow them and wait for them to do the other strafe, if they just don't, then you just end up just like following this person straight forever and they'll just kill you, right? So you can't do this too much. So here's in a long range duel with this cast. He's shooting this guy and he just flicked to this guy and he sees him start a right strafe, right? So since he just started this strafe, I don't want to, and especially because this is a high damage person, I don't want to really wait a lot. So I'm going to try to cut him off on his movement pattern before I'm going to try just following him. Because if I just follow him, he's going to get like 2 or 3 shots for free. I don't want this person to get 2 or 3 shots for free, right? So he tries to cut him off on this right strafe, which means I'm just going to go move faster than him. I'm going to quickly flick, and then I'm going to try to cut him off this way, right? He tries to cut him off. He hits a body shot. And then after he cuts him off, then he does the second technique, which is I cut him off here on this body shot. I see him going left, and he mirrors his movement also left. I see him going left, and now I'm going to hold my crosshair here and wait for him to strafe back into it, because I know if he does the long strafe left, then he's just going to leave my LOS, and then it doesn't matter. If he comes back right, then I'll kill him, right? And so this is way easier said than done, but he does both of these techniques in this one duel. Boom, right? And also the way that he moves plays a decent part in this. He's not focusing on his movement a lot, but there's still, you see where like when he does the cutoff, when he changes movement techniques or when he changes aiming techniques, he also changes his movement technique, right? So like when he does this right cutoff, He does this here, and right after he hits that body shot, he changes his movement, right? He was right strafing, hit that strafe. Now he's left strafing, and he's doing the following, and he's waiting, just lining that crosshair up. Boom, right? It's just so easy, right? Or it looks so easy in real time. But the aim is actually the easy part of aiming. The figuring all this out, like understanding the movement pattern before the other guy does it is the hard part. So okay, that is very classic hit scan dually. And to be honest, most of these theory fundamentals set you apart in the hit scan duels. Because with raw skill, you can hit a support or a tank most of the time. But if you're against it, another hit scan like that also understands the theory, and they theory aim and you don't, they will literally shit on you. So what he does, let's go to 0.5. When he comes out to look at this guy, you can see him engage the full throttle of the brain, right? So when he moves his crosshair to this guy, he's slightly to the left, right? And so then he has to guess what movement pattern this guy's going to do. And he doesn't have a ton of information because he just peeked, right? So this is like a pure guess where you have to decide, like you can either try to flick to this guy now or you can react when he moves, right? So those are your two options. Either I can flick to him now, which is kind of a gamble because he's definitely going to move, or I can wait for him to move slightly. And if he moves left, I can catch him easily. And if he moves right, I can cut him off, right? So what he does is he waits for him to move left, right? So he just waits. When he peeks and he doesn't know which way the guy's going to move, he just waits a second for him to move. He moves left, right? He misses the shot. He predicted it right. He literally just was a tiny bit too high, misses it by a pixel. So now he knows the guy just moved left. He's going to move right. So he keeps his crosshair on him for a second, and then he actually keeps it still and tries to flick right and hits him. And this is the interesting part to me. We're like, let's watch this in real time again. Because that's so interesting. Like, he follows him for a little bit, and then actually, instead of following him with his crosshair, he just goes back to a normal position. And this is something that's kind of unique to each hit scan, which is everyone has specific movements that they're incredibly comfortable in, right? Like there's just some type of micro flick that you've drilled a billion times that you just know that you don't miss, right? Like for a lot of people, it's actually different. Like I wouldn't recommend everyone do this the same way. Whereas like a lot of what he's been doing is just gradually applicable. But this is the kind of thing where you need to understand like what is your best shot? Like for some people, it's like this specific distance right to left, right? Like it's just a specific distance and a specific type of movement that you're good at. And to me, like it looks like he just knows the type of shot that he wants. Like he wants this mid-range left to right type of flick. He just knows he's going to hit this. So he waits for him to move that distance and then he does the flick and just hits it, right? And then after he does the flick, he does another theory aim where flicks right, and as he comes left, the guy goes right. He knows he has to come back left because he's out of room, and also he just went right. So just holds his crosshair here, waits for this guy to strafe back into it. Boom. Just clean. Same thing here, man. And this is actually, okay, this is maybe one of the easiest to apply broadly tips is the first time that you hit somebody, don't overreact. But this is maybe the easiest level 1 tip to just immediately apply is that when you hit a shot, because you will hit a shot eventually, right? Whatever, you either guess the movement pattern correctly or you're just using your raw skill. What he does is he doesn't overreact to hitting his own shot and usually just stays in the same spot, right? And so when he hits the shot, he knows this guy's going to come around the corner, right? So this is an easy shot. Hits this guy. What does he do after hitting this shot? Because this guy was moving right. All he does is he keeps his crosshair here for a second to see if the guy's going to strafe back this way. Because he just got hit, right? This guy's scared. And when people are scared, they change their movement pattern, right? And so he knows there's a good chance that this guy's just going to strafe back into my crosshair. Just keeps it here. And the guy strafes back into his crosshair, right? And so this is easy to do. Boom, keep your crosshair here. Boom, strafe right back into it. And it's like, he's not even moving. The other guy's just doing all the work for him. But you have to know how to make the other guy do the work for you. Same thing, man. Look at this. It's the same thing here. So he knows first of all, this is an easy shot to hit because he's just corner camping, right? This is just good crosshair placement. And he knows the guy's going to come out of here. So when he does this, he hits this guy and he just keeps his crosshair here for a second, right? And when you hit someone and you keep your crosshair for a second, there's a good chance that they get scared and they start counter strafing whatever way they were going. And so my crosshair's here. He was coming out of here. I hit him and he's going this way. He's scared. He's just going to come back into this way. Boom. Right? He just lets him go past him and come back. It's easy. It's not easy, you know, but it looks easy. It's so smooth. Ew. Here's like a long strafe. He hits this guy here. And so he knows this guy's long strafing here, right? He's got to come back this way. Or he's going to go all the way to this thing, and then I can just camp him on this thing. So does he cut him off, or does he follow him? He just follows him. And then he cuts him off here, which is interesting to me. Because I think the difference here, like I think normally after hitting this guy the first time, he would have followed the second time, but here he cuts him off because he just saw this guy go for a long strafe, right? So he knows this guy's a long strafer. This guy's going to long strafe the other direction. And so because he saw the first long strafe, like this is a long strafe, right? I think he's clocking immediately what someone likes to do. And against the short strafers, like the Zarya clip, that guy was a short strafer, right? He's just hovering and always following and just using the follow technique because the guy's changing direction so many times. It gives him so many options. Here, this guy's long strafing. So he follows him for the first one and then he cuts him off. Like this is the same thing, right? Like, so this guy's jumping. He tries to hit the shot on the jump. And then he knows, okay, this guy has just strafed past my crosshair and he's short strafing, right? So one short strafe. Now I'm going to start following this guy and he just follows him here. One shot. He's still short strafing. Follow him again. And so here he's like, he figures out which one you're going to do so quickly and then adjusts his technique accordingly.